Okay. These are Vejas, and they represent a very important movement in the fashion industry. Let me explain. The way I see it, a luxury brand is expensive for two main reasons: quality and the brand name itself. Okay, check it out. So this Louis Vuitton t-shirt on the left should undoubtedly be of higher build quality and material than this similar ASOS branded t-shirt on the right. You know, maybe the Louis Vuitton has better stitching, maybe it's more breathable, and you know, I'm sure the material itself will last much longer. But at the end of the day, both of these t-shirts will be functional and they'll both look fine. You could probably style them in similar ways, and to be honest, from a reasonable distance, no one's gonna be able to tell that one of these shirts costs $400 and the other one costs $10. So while yes, we can definitely attribute some of this discrepancy to the difference in the sort of intrinsic properties between these two shirts, probably not $390 worth of discrepancy, right? Like that seems like a lot. There's gotta be something else about this LV t-shirt that makes me wanna spend $400 on it, right? So, I mean, let's take another look. It's a good shirt, you know, nice color. I mean, I'd probably wear it. Yes, it's this guy. This tiny bit of embossing. That is the source of our discrepancy. It's the brand. It's the status and the wealth associated with owning a certain brand that the consumer is paying for. You know, in a weird sort of way, expensive clothes are expensive because those buyers want them to be expensive. They want people to know that they can afford something that others cannot. Now, if that seems frivolous to you, I can't blame you. And you're not alone, especially among younger consumers. Gen Z is now of age and frankly sufficient wealth to be a player in the luxury fashion market. And their buying habits are reportedly more value-driven than their older cohorts. Gen Z wants to spend their money on brands that share, or at least claim to share, their own personal values. And this isn't a new concept. According to the 2019 McKinsey State of Fashion report, 9 out of 10 Gen Z consumers believe that brands should be transparent about their stance on environmental and social issues. The 2021 edition of that same report indicates that 2/3 of consumers would significantly reduce their shopping at brands that they knew were treating their employees or suppliers unfairly. So these consumers, who are the future of luxury fashion buying trends, are willing to pay a premium to know that their money is making the world a better place, or at least not making it a worse place. Which brings us back to Veja. So Veja's entire brand identity really is centered around sustainability, fair trade, and an ethical production and supply chain. Founded in France by these two dudes, Sebastian Kopp and Francois Marion, Veja has an absolute laser focus on producing ethical and sustainable sneakers. It's truly mind-blowing, the measures that they take to actually practice what they preach. And I'm gonna break that down for you. So let's start with the leather. Animal hide must go through a process called tanning to produce leather of sufficient quality to be sewn into sneakers. Typically, tanning requires a chemical solution, including a compound called chromium. Chrome is bad. It can find its way into the water supply and have absolutely devastating effects on the animals and people living off of that water. Veja opts for an alternative tanning process called vegetable tanning, which relies on bark, plant tissue, and other naturally occurring substances. Now let's take a look at their soles. Veja's soles are produced using 20 to 30% natural rubber, which are tapped and harvested by the rubber trees in Brazil. It's a great alternative to fully synthetic rubber, which costs much more energy to produce and is also not biodegradable whatsoever. Okay, so what about the fabric, right? Well, the cotton is all organic. And that's important because harvesting organic cotton takes 91% less water and produces significantly less greenhouse gas emissions as well. And this mesh material right here, it's called hexamesh. And it's produced using entirely recycled plastic bottles and cotton. Organic, of course. So yeah, this shoe is a lot better for the planet than this shoe. Beyond a commitment to sustainable materials, Veja takes great care to adhere to something called fair trade principles. So fair trade essentially means ethical and transparent business between buyers and commodity producers. Veja completely cuts out any middlemen in their transaction and buys directly from the producer. They establish a contract negotiating the price before the materials are ever produced, and after the contract is agreed upon, they'll pay 50% upfront to the producers before anything is ever made. That means those cotton harvesters, rubber tappers, and leather producers are all paid way more when they sell to Veja than when they sell to your other popular favorite sneaker brand. While researching this brand, the only real skepticism on my end was that if this were all true, then how is this like a viable, practical business model? And they say it themselves on their website. To produce a Veja sneaker costs 5 times more than it does their competitors, but they charge comparable prices. Are their margins just like super low? So maybe, but I doubt it. And I'll tell you why. It's because Veja doesn't run ads. They don't run ads in print, they don't run ads in TV, they don't run ads on social media, there are no billboards, they have no brand ambassadors, they don't run ads. What would be spent on marketing instead goes to using the most sustainable resources possible and fairly compensating their suppliers. And this is a rarity. Most brands reinvest about 70% back into marketing to build hype and brand awareness, but Veja lets their product do the talking. And I must say, I find that really admirable. Frankly, I'm excited about what the brand and brands like it mean for the future of the fashion industry. Consumers are already beginning to tire of brands that stand for little more than elitism and exclusion. Instead, look to brands that have mission and character and values and follow through with the claims they make. So like if you're buying common projects, right, you're paying for a high quality shoe, definitely, but you're also paying for the allure of owning common projects. Cool. But you cop some Veja sneakers, you're paying for a high quality shoe, but you're also paying for the knowledge that your purchase isn't contributing to the demise of planet Earth as we know it, and a lighter conscience too. So, and look, I'm not trying to say you should feel bad about, flexing with some hot brand. I do that too. It's fun, it's part of fashion. But the insane amount of waste, harsh labor conditions, and ridiculous resource utilization necessary to produce some of our favorite brands is getting hard to ignore. Consumers are taking note and adjusting their behavior accordingly. And at the end of the day, it's a free market, so the buyer is calling the shots. But anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for listening.